is known as perhaps the nation's premier Catholic university. But given some recent events there, many are wondering if the Fighting Irish are actually fighting faith, as in their own. A group of student activists put up these disgusting posters around campus, blaming fellow students, faculty, and certain alumni for violence against the gay community. Not at the university, but everywhere. So the red is supposed to be mimicking, I guess, the blood the accusers say are on the hands of traditional Catholics. Then they took it a step further, posting this sick video online.
That the blood on your names did not come from you or the hate groups you've been inviting to speak on campus. It was ours and my loved ones. Your reasoned opinions seep into churches, into culture. They diffuse like venomous gas from every outlet. That is the very nature of discourse.
Joining me now is William Dempsey, director of Sycamore Trust, one of the groups targeted by these radicals. You are head of this alumni group, or conservative Catholics, called the Sycamore Trust. Your group was targeted. What is going on here?
What's going on at Notre Dame is an awful business. You displayed it there, and our group, Sycamore Trust, is a group of alumni that I head, a group of alumni that's concerned about the attenuation of the Catholic identity at the University of Notre Dame. And, of course, we do support church teaching with respect to homosexuals and homosexual sex and same marriage. That teaching, of course, has two branches. It includes, as a primary teaching, the obligation to accord charity and justice and love and respect to homosexuals. But on the other hand, it opposes as intrinsically immoral homosexual sex. I'm not here to defend that. I'm here to speak about basic civility on campus and the kind of behavior that we're seeing here. And the really distressing thing about it, you know, it's hard to imagine this at Notre Dame. Nothing like this has happened at Notre Dame before. You might think of it at some other, more radical campus. But the really distressing thing about it is the inaction of the president of the University of Notre Dame.
Well, you wrote to him asking for him to, I guess, take some action, Paul Brown, and he responded by saying, when the sign first was displayed on campus, it was quickly taken back down by the Notre Dame Police Department. A subsequent request for permission to display the sign on campus was denied by the university. Now, Bill, if this sign had been directed toward a, let's say, more politically correct group, and slurs or damaging comments, using image of blood, do you think that's all would have happened with Mr. Brown? Is that all he would have done?
Those students would have been out of the dormitories with their, computers thrown out the window after them, as soon as that hit the main building. I mean, this is really, really unbelievable. And, Father Jenkins is a champion of civility on campus. That's a lot of the things that he talks about.
He didn't give us a response. It was,
I know, it was
the spokesman, Paul Brown.
Spokesman. Mm-hmm. And he said nothing, as you'll observe, about that video. And it should have been taken down immediately, but it was still up as of yesterday.
You actually said that this is tantamount because individual students were named who are currently at the school.
That's right.
Like you're a young man, but you're not a student anymore. But these are kids who will try to get jobs, apply for jobs, want to work in the workforce. At some point. I think this is an effort to intimidate them, harass them, and smear them so they are unemployable deplorables. And you say that it's a violation of the intimidation statute of Indiana. I'm going to put it up on screen. This is section 35 to 45. We have it up on screen. The threat is communicated using property, including electronic equipment or systems, of a school corporation. A threat means expression by words or action of an intention to expose the person threatened to hatred, contempt, disgrace, or ridicule, and to falsely harm the credit or business reputation of a person. I think both of those subsections are implicated in the way this was done. Now, people think this is just, this is a college campus. Big deal. And you say to them?
Well, There are overtones of violence in these displays, really. They're talking about the slitting of our loved ones' throats. You have the beating by a crowbar of the images or the names of these student authors that are
on the video.
On that postcard, on the video.
Yeah.
Beating with a crowbar. And so doesn't anybody think of Virginia Tech in this kind of a situation? I mean, isn't there an obligation to do everything possible to maintain the safety of students at a university like Notre Dame? Of course there is.
Well, there's a double standard, Mr. Dempsey. There's a double standard. We all know it. And we didn't think it was going to happen at Notre Dame. But I think a lot of people believed when President Obama received, was it the Latare?
Got an honorary degree of laws, of all things.
So he got an honorary degree of law. Well, given his views on abortion and so forth, that was a shock to many alumni and traditional Catholic students at Notre Dame. Mr. Dempsey, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank
we
you,
really
Laura.
appreciate it.